Hello everyone! This week I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm sorry if that disappoints you if you guys were looking for a no mirror makeup challenge this week. I just want to change things up because of some things that have been happening in the comic and cosplay community, and I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents. I'm going to try to keep this short because I just wanted to give insight, at least insight from my perspective on this issue, and if you're not interested in hearing anything about cosplay or comics or just my opinion, I'll see you guys next week for the non-mirror makeup challenge of that week. But for those of you who are still here, hello. My name is Megan. I go by Solo Grayson on pretty much any website that has to do with anything that could be nerdy. And as a child growing up, here's a little bit of backstory, I was always super into artistic things, but I myself am not a very artistic person. I think that I do well with writing, but for someone so visual as I never considered that to be good enough, if that makes sense, for me. Don't get me wrong, I love reading and I love writing, but those aren't just striking visual mediums. Someone doesn't really generally look at a book and go, oh, you know, you did a good job with that book, and you're like, yeah, I did. They're normally just like, it's a book. And, you know, the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. So, you know, that just wasn't enough for me. So growing up, I always had huge, like, appreciation for things like art and even music, even though it's not something that you can visually see. It really touches you easily. It's very easily accessible because everybody likes to listen to music. So growing up, I just loved cartoons and, you know, anything artistic. And it's not that I don't have the talent for drawing, because I'm told this by everyone who draws. It's not that you need talent for it, it's just that you need to draw and not give up. So honestly, I just never had the dedication that it took to be a great artist, because I am a huge perfectionist, and if I drew something wrong the first time, like if I didn't draw it perfect the first time, I was like, I give up. And that's kinda just how I've been. So I have a huge appreciation for the arts. Everyone that I've dated, honestly, has been an artist of some sort, even if they're not, like, I don't know, even if they haven't been great at it, it was something that they loved, and I'm sure if I were to talk to them now, they'd probably have evolved crazy, like, come so far as artists. But, yeah, so just appreciation for the arts, which led to a love for comic books and anime, and then this thing happened, and I discovered what cosplay was, and cosplay gave me a way to express my love for characters that someone else has designed, and other shows and other mediums, my love for them without having to be skilled at anything, really, because I grew up in a time where things like eBay costumes were just starting to pop up, so they weren't great, but I was able to cosplay for a very little effort on my part, and I'm still not very good at cosplay, and I'll fully admit that. I fully admit that 90% of my costumes are bought or commissioned or altered items. There are very few costumes that I've made myself from scratch, just because I'm not very good, and unfortunately, I don't have the time to dedicate to learning how to sew that I would have if I would have started in high school. I really kick myself in the ass about that now, but yeah, so cosplay, for me and for many people and the vast majority of cosplayers, cosplay is just a way to express your love for characters in a way that doesn't require you to draw? I don't know, because when I think about fan appreciation, things like fanfics and fan art come to mind, like, immediately. And I can't draw, so I obviously can't draw fan art, and I can write fanfics, but fanfics generally inspire things like shipping wars, and cosplay doesn't do that, so that's always good. It's something that, you know, everyone can appreciate no matter what they ship, or, I mean, plenty of fanfics aren't about romance, but I mean, those aren't fanfics I'm reading. Anyway, but in case in case I'm going on about this and you have no idea why I'm talking about this, this is the second time in the last year that a comic artist has come out and publicly expressed their dislike for cosplayers. And so I wanted to give you some background as to what cosplay meant to me before I went into this, and which is this issue of comic book artists not liking cosplayers, and how it makes no sense to me, first of all, because of what cosplay means to me. And at first when I heard these things, I wanted to retaliate, because they said all these mean things about cosplayers, and I'm a cosplayer, and I get a little defensive, and I wanted to retaliate, and then I thought, there's better ways to discuss this issue, I don't know, to deal with this issue, which is, I wanted to, I don't know, just explain cosplay from a cosplayer's perspective, from a person who is just a dorky fan who wants to dress up like characters that they love, and I don't understand, honestly, how someone who creates characters could not find it awesome that people would want to cosplay them. I personally just don't understand it. And I know that cosplay is getting huge, so not everyone goes into cosplay for the same reasons. Some people go into it just because they like the character designs, they want to challenge themselves into making these crazy characters, they want to challenge themselves into bringing them to life, and even that, I think, is a great reason to cosplay a character, because even if you don't know the comics back to forwards, something about that character drew you in. Something about a character that someone else created drew you in so much that you wanted to spend your own time and money recreating it. And I know that from the outside it seems like it's so easy to, like, become successful and make money off of cosplay, but it's really, really not. It's hard, and very few people in this world will be able to call themselves a professional cosplayer. And even if they are for a while, it's not something that you'll be able to do for your whole life, and it's not something you'll be able to call a career for very long. Even as cosplay is evolving, it's a very, very shallow profession, so it's something that I would not advise going into. And for so many people, it's just gonna be a hobby, and that's fine with most cosplayers. I don't think most cosplayers are trying to become professionals. I think most cosplayers are just nerds in love with other people's characters, and I don't know, that's just kind of what I wanted to say. If you're a cosplayer, tell me why you cosplay, why do you love doing it, or like, why did you start? It's really disheartening for me as a cosplayer to hear things like this, because one of my greatest aspirations in life, and something that always means so much to me, is meeting a comic creator in cosplays of their character. It's like something that I'm like kind of crying a little bit. I've met a few comic artists in cosplays of their characters. They've been webcomic artists, but for me, I don't really see much of a difference between webcomic and normal comic, because it's just, I don't care if they're published by a big company. If I love a character, I love a character. You know what I mean? So I've met artists in costume, and thankfully everyone that I've met has always been so excited, and it just means so much to me to be able to meet these people in these costumes and, like, kind of show them how much I love what they've created, and I can't imagine what it would be like if I met one of them and they were like, what you're doing is, I don't like what you're doing, and I don't like that you're cosplaying my character, and I don't know. That would just really break my heart, because for me it's like the ultimate compliment. They always say that mimicry is the best compliment, but like, I'm not tracing your art or anything, I'm just trying to become your character for at least a little bit, and so yeah, I think when some comic artists are saying these things, they're not realizing how much love we have for these characters. I think that they don't understand that cosplay, for a majority of cosplayers, comes from a place of deep love and appreciation, and not this superficial, shallow, I don't know, insight that a lot of people who aren't cosplayers think cosplayers are. And, yeah. I'm sorry if that was really rambly. I'm absolutely certain that it was, and I'm sorry I got really weepy emotional for like a little while there. But, yeah. So that was this Monday. I'm not really gonna call it a Megan Monday. Maybe it was a Megan Monday. I mean, I'm Megan, and it's Monday, so yeah. Yeah. I'll see you guys next week, and I promise next week will be a funny video instead of this. Sorry. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!